Okay, it's 8:30 straight up. So, usually I know what I'm going to talk about early in the day, if not way before. And tonight, well, it came to me right at the last moment what I needed to be talking about. I had something else in my mind, and I just decided to go a different direction. So I did want to cover something that just now popped in my head, though. I was going to say, I'm always like, Jetty, are you on the call? Jetty, where are you? Jetty, and you guys may wonder if we live together. Jetty goes across the street. We have a house across the street that was our first home, and when we bought the,
she kicks me out. Basically, what she does.
No, I'm muting you though. There you go. So when we moved out of that house and bought the house that we live in now, which I don't know if I've ever told this on a Zoom call or not, but the house we live in is the house that Rue McClanahan grew up in, which Rue McClanahan is from the Golden Girls. If you ever watched that, she's the redheaded hussy from the Golden Girls. I said, this house was always supposed to belong to a redheaded hussy, so we bought it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, when we lived across the street, this house came available, and through a long series of stories I won't get into tonight, we ended up in this house, and we were going to sell our other house, and someone wanted to rent it, and so it became a rental and has always just remained ours. And now we've turned it into office space, so Jetty goes over there so that we're not echoing through each other's computers, basically. So anyway, I can't decide if I want to share the screen with you guys. I love being able to look at your pretty faces, but I think I probably need to, because I wanted to read a story to you that's incredible. I didn't read it before I found it, but I didn't read it before I got on the Zoom chat tonight, because it's incredibly hard for me to read even once. So I thought I probably shouldn't read it before I get on here. But it's relevant information, I think, for a lot of you who don't know the story. And then I really don't know where I'm going to go from there, but I think it's what I'm supposed to talk about tonight. So give me a second. I'm going to share screen with you. Not that. That's the song I was going to play if I wasn't looking for that number. This is a post that I wrote. Well, it says November 4th, 2014. I don't remember where we were headed, but I do remember we were in the vehicle when I wrote this, because it's one of those posts that I'll never forget writing. I'm going to do my best to read it to you, and the reason I thought I would read it to you and let you read along with me is because I may have a little hard time getting through it. And also at the bottom, there's pictures that I want you guys to see. So, okay, this is the story about my brother. It says this will probably end up being incredibly long to read, as I have never written most of what I plan on telling right now, because it's painful to relive parts of it. And yet, as long as it will be, I will probably leave more out than I include. This is the fascinating story of my butterfly team. As my team grows, it occurred to me that a lot of you butterflies might not have any idea why you are a butterfly. So I want to tell you the story. I had a brother 3 years younger than me. His name was Luke. He was the funniest guy and warmer-hearted than anyone I know. We were best friends. He had red hair like me, and he was a jokester. He passed away in 2006, and his death was a mystery to everyone. He was at a kid's birthday party, and he literally fell over, didn't even try to catch himself, so he was out before he fell. Ambulance was called. They tried to resuscitate him for 45 minutes. Which is entirely too long, but the doctor said he's so young and he looks so healthy. So they kept trying. They finally got a heartbeat back, and the next 10 days are a hodgepodge of a blur of horrible memories, most of which I think my brain has blocked to protect me. He lay in a coma for 10 days while they ran test after test on him. They could not figure out what was wrong with him. After the first few days, they landed on that whatever it was environmental. He had been studying. I never started recording, did I? Oh, yeah, I did, didn't I? Yeah, I did. He had been studying mold spores in a lab. Please understand that at that time, my family and myself were completely uneducated about anything fungal. He was 28 years old, a strapping 6'3" or 6'4". The week prior, he had started to talk about how his nose was acting weird again, like it had when he was 17. He had to have nasal polyps removed 3 times when he was in high school. Anyway, fast forward through a handful of years following his death, that my mom, my sister, and myself repeatedly pleaded with God, why? We just want to understand why. But those years were pretty awful for me. Very depressed, sinking, wishing I could feel normal again. I ate to comfort myself. There's a song by Amy Grant called Held, and I had it on repeat. It talks about when awful things happen, and that's what it means to be held. I was doing my photography, pouring myself into it for distraction. My sister had developed this severe wheat allergy that made her quit breathing if she even got the tiniest amount, and she had looked everywhere for answers for that. She was, pardon me, Leah, but a walking mucus problem and couldn't eat anything normal. Plus, she kept getting back weird blood test results as far as autoimmune disorders. Again, something my family was unfamiliar with. No one had any answers for her. There's an issue among the mainstream medical community. Just want to get that out there. I don't think they are evil. I did at one time. I just think the medical journals they are taught from are published by pharmaceutical companies, and therefore they are not properly trained about candida and what it can do to your immune system. Give me 1 second. Trip, if that's your puppy, okay. I had had athlete's foot since first grade and a janky toenail and bad allergies, and all of those things are fungal problems. So are immune system problems. If you get strep throat every year like I used to, you probably have a crippled immune system. I could talk about all that for days, since all of those, I can't say that next line. I'll tell you why I can't say that next line in a second. Including my sister's, I can't say that one either. Or the next. Don't read it. One day I said a prayer. I was tired of being so overweight and sad all the time. I prayed, help me figure out a way to lose weight that I can keep off, or just help me to be okay with the way that I am. And I laid it at his feet. I was tired of marching around that same issue year after year. A few days later, I saw an ad for Plexus. I actually thought it might be an evil temptation. I wrote it down and prayed. A few days later, I looked at the website. Being a photographer makes me cynical about before and after photos, and the results looked too good to be true. So I prayed for a few more days. When I would pray, I felt such peace. Then one day, I got on the site and signed up to get it at wholesale. Got a box in the mail, didn't have a clue how to use it, and had no idea who to ask. But I jumped in. A few days in, and something happened that I can't read. And that was the beginning of what you now see. My hometown is literally peeling back the layers of health problems many have suffered from for years. It's been an answer to my plea. I can't prove that that is why, but my heart knows. I'll never forget the first time I read an email thanking me for all the research I had done, and that they were now well because of it. My heart filled up with something I'd never felt before, and my eyes filled with tears, and now I have an army of butterflies helping me spread the word. So why are they butterflies? About 3 or 4 years before my brother died, he was the manager at our local El Chico restaurant. One night, my family and I went to eat dinner, and I noticed this gorgeous vine blooming on the back patio. I asked my brother to find out what it was. He later told me that it was called a passion vine. Fast forward to 2008, 2 years after my brother passed. One day I was taking senior photos for the daughter of El Chico's new manager. She had worked with Luca for a few months before he took the job he had when he passed. After I finished taking her daughter's photos, she asked me to follow her back to her house because she had something for me. So I followed her. She walked out of her garage holding an old clay pot filled with dirt. She explained to me that she was embarrassed for having it for so long without giving it to me. I asked her, what is it? She said, Luke wanted you to have this. I've had it for years. I cried. I took it home and watered it. The first year, it hardly did anything, but the next year it bloomed and climbed and got these spiky caterpillars all over it. My mom warned me that the caterpillars would eat the entire vine if I didn't put 7 Dust on them to kill them, but I just couldn't do it, even if they ate the entire vine. One day, our friend Joe was at our house, and we were on my back porch when one of those caterpillars suddenly hung himself upside down and started shimmying his spikes off right in front of our eyes. I got my camera, and that crazy thing literally cocooned right in front of me. I used the lens my brother bought for me called a macro lens. It's the kind of lens you have to use to capture really tiny stuff. I called my mom. She started researching what kind of caterpillar it might be. Turns out it was the passion vine caterpillar. It only does its thing on the passion vine. Also, the man who dedicated his life to the passion vine caterpillar research happened to die the same month and year as my brother, which I thought was weird. Later that same day, I received a text from a friend that said, "Love you." Random, sort of, but then my cousin texted me the same thing. Finally, another friend texted me, "Thinking of you." It was then that it occurred to me that this was all happening exactly 4 years to the day after my brother died. I kept a close eye on that cocoon for about 4 days, and when it began emerging about 4 days later, I was there with my camera in hand. I caught every single step of its process. That's where all my beautiful butterfly prints came from. I loved the fact that the butterfly was copper, just like my brother's hair. I'm not trying to say that my brother turned into a butterfly, because people have asked me that before. I just love the symbolism, like a little nod from heaven. In some cultures, butterflies are seen as departed souls of people's ancestors. There are people who recognize the chrysalis as the soul trapped inside the body. The butterfly's emergence symbolizes the freedom of the soul at the moment of passing. So if I'm your Facebook friend and you get tired of me posting about plexus, you have to realize that I equate that in my mind with you getting tired of me sharing the why that I pleaded with God for. And you getting tired of people getting well, and no matter how bad you may wish I'd hush, it won't ever be enough to tip the scale. I'm all in, and so are my butterflies. Once your eyes are opened, it's impossible to go back. And would you look all around you? How could you possibly be tired of people no longer suffering? It's become my life's work. It's my why. If you don't understand mysterious health problems you have, message me, and maybe I can teach you about Candida and how it cripples your body's God-given ability to repair itself. You may be living inside your cocoon. All you need is a little open-minded freedom. And then I wanted to share with you, these are the actual photographs. This is what those boogers actually looked like. They looked like someone a year or so later, a couple of years later, posted a picture of one of these on her own Vine. And she's like, "Does anybody need some fishing worms from the 7th ring of hell?" I mean, they look like they would be super mean, you know, and kind of give you a feel. This is one that we have, I think it's this one that we have hanging in our bedroom. These little guys, they start off the size of an eye of a needle. Like 2 years later, I took pictures of them again, and I could see them on the vine before they got to this size. I was like, I think that's those caterpillars. And so I took a needle and threaded it through the leaf and put it so you can see that this little guy right there, he's the size of my finger in the picture, but he started off literally the size of the inside of the eye of a needle. See the little ants on the vine there? The caterpillar was originally smaller than they are. And they eat and they eat and they eat, and they will almost eat your vine until it's dead. Then they hang themselves upside down and see these little things that look like spikes. They're really like eyelashes. As they begin to cocoon, it pushes their spikes all to the top, and like this little clump of eyelashes, and then it starts to go back and forth like it's struggling kind of, and then the eyelashes begin to see it struggling, and then a little clump of eyelashes fall. The man who's dedicated his entire life's research to this particular butterfly and caterpillar had spent his entire life taking pictures of these creatures, and in many of his articles described that the eyelashes come up in a clump and fall, but apologized because he goes, I never was able to get a picture of that. And the very first time, I didn't even know it was a big deal, but the first time I was out there watching it while it happened, I just thought that was interesting too. And then it starts to dry, and it looks kind of like a leaf right there. And it bakes in the sun, like it shows its tail this direction, like from 8 in the morning till 1, and then it shows its tail this direction from like till the sun goes down. It bakes on either side. And then when it emerges, it looks like this. Look at the detail of the little fine hairs. That's the lens that my brother bought for me that was able to get those little tiny details. Truly did not know what I was doing either. Like it was all completely a God thing. Look at its tongue. Can you see its tongue sticking out all curled? And before her wings are even dry, a male comes along to say hello so that she can lay fertile eggs. Hello, he says. I'm sure she's thinking, get away from me, but it happens nonetheless. She's still hanging from her cocoon here. The first time it started happening, first time I ever saw that, I started shooing it away like, leave her alone. But then I was like, okay, it's the circle of life, so I'm going to let it happen. Little butterfly molester. Oh, there you go. There's full-on butterfly, you know what. There you go. So, okay, I had to share that story with you guys tonight. Like I said, I don't know why. Give me a second, though. I'm going to find you guys again. Stop sharing my screen. Now, you may have read that story before. It may be completely like, you're like, yeah, Lori, I know that story. That may be the first time that you've ever heard it. I guess maybe one of the things that came up while I was reading is that I'm going to have to talk to you guys about compliance. But I have some relevant information about compliance. I'll go over that with you guys tonight. And I'll tell you why I'm no longer doing like that about compliance, because I've learned a lot. I'm beginning to understand the importance of why we have to have a compliance department with Plexus. Also, I feel like I wanted to show to you guys a perspective of why no matter really whatever happens, like if I get bullied a little bit, if I'm struggling with the company in whatever way, it's not ever going to faze me enough because my why is so strong. When we went to leaders training this 2 weeks ago, that's the very first thing they started training us on, was how important your why is. Hang on one second. I want to see if I can find something else for you guys. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I have a video about that. I'm not going to make you watch it right now. I'm going to put it on the butterfly page after this. But it's a really important or really poignant video about having a powerful why. It's one that I've had you watch videos about it in the past, but this is a different one than what I've had you watch before. Okay, I'm going to move on to compliance. Some of you may have seen the video that was posted by our new compliance guy. Raise your hand if you did. Okay. So we have a new, I think he's an attorney that works for our company, and his job is, he came from a company that got in trouble with the FDA, and no one from that company any longer receives a paycheck because of the fact that they got in trouble with the FDA. So I wanted to lead with that because that'll really perk your ears open, okay? Stinks, but they got in trouble with the FDA over making medical claims. For example, using the name of a disease while advertising their product. And I was speaking with, you guys may have seen that earlier today, Erin, my friend Erin was over here at our house today. You know Erin, she's always on here yakking, but She's not right now because she's driving home. She may be on here somewhere, but I haven't seen her yet. But I was talking with her today, and we were discussing the fact that people don't really understand that Facebook is, your Facebook page is an advertisement. That's the way the FDA looks at it. So anything you say on your Facebook page, you may be saying to yourself right now, that doesn't really apply to me. I'm a nobody. They're not going to watch what I say, what I do. That's actually how I felt for a very long time until I learned. Jenny, am I able to tell about that software? I can't hear you if you're talking to me.
Well, I mean, the FDA has software that basically is like a search engine that can they can put 10 words together and search anybody's anything, basically.
The internet.
The internet in general. Yeah, Harley's accidentally sharing her screen there. Hi, Harley.
I don't know what I did.
Here, I'll try to make it go away. Okay, there we go.
Thank you. Sorry.
It's okay.
That's okay. But basically, I believe we've tried to get the same type of system to where we can basically be, I don't know the right word I'm looking for, be ahead of the game as far as not getting issues from the FDA, which is a great thing. I mean, the guy we have now, his name is Chris, I can't remember the last name, Reed.
Like Superman, Christopher Reed.
Yeah, Chris Reed, wonderful guy. And his main goal is being the head of compliance is to keep us out of issues. Some people see, in the past, we've seen compliance as basically putting handcuffs on everybody, and that's actually not the case. They're actually the people that protect us in everything that we do. So if you see something that's like, or even if you get an email, even if some people have gotten emails from compliance saying, hey,
already, it's happening like this week.
Yeah, hey, this post, you can't say this, blah, blah, blah. And they're willing to work with you. I mean, you can go back and forth with them and talk to them. But their main objective is protection of the company as a whole. So I mean.
So I'm gonna dumb it down a little bit in case anybody's out there. I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm saying if you're new and you're like, I don't even know what compliance means. I don't know what you're talking about. It's basically like this. We are a supplement company, therefore we're not a drug company. So if we make claims, medical claims, that we, even if you go, well, it's totally true though, it doesn't really matter if it's totally true or not. If you make a claim that drug companies make, any type of medical claim, and you're not a drug company, then the FDA will shut you down for that. And they will say, well, then you need to apply to be a drug, basically. Your medicine, your supplement has to go back and apply to be a drug to make medical claims. It doesn't matter if they're true or relevant. We can't make medical claims. And I used to think, well, Facebook, I mean, really, are they going to watch my Facebook page? Well, we learned at leadership training that actually they have the software like Jetty was talking about. Our compliance company, they're in cahoots with us to make sure that we don't have people out there foolishly making medical claims about what our products will do, so that one person or 5 people don't get the entire company in a rut with the FDA. So we have bought the same software that the FDA uses, and it's searching software where they can type in a word like plexus plus a disease, and every time every time that someone has mentioned those two things together, if they're searching Facebook or if they're searching the internet in general, it will pull up websites, it will pull up everything where those two things are listed together, and our company will let you know, hey, guess what? We found something that you've said that you are not legally able to say because the FDA won't allow it. So I'm just putting that out there because if you were to get an email from our company, first of all, you need to know that it's a form email. Generally speaking, if you go, wow, that language is sort of rude, they're all the same. They send the same email to everyone, and you'd be like, do they not know that I do 5,000 in volume for them every month? Because that's how I would have felt. I'd be like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Well, then basically, I would not have realized that they send that same exact letter to everyone. So if you get a letter and you're like, don't let it freak you out, message your upline, let them know, get back in contact with compliance. Now, if you're saying, okay, well, what are they going to do? Well, what we've seen that they will do at this point is, were you wanting to say something there?
If anyone does get an email, don't ignore it.
Don't ignore it. Yeah.
That's the worst.
Email them back and tell them, I'm willing to do what I need to do here. They're
Yeah,
not
just, hey, tell me what to do.
as long as you get back with them. If you don't get back with them or if you don't comply at that point, they are locking people out of their Plexus account until you comply. So I hate talking about stuff that has like a negative, and this feels like to me. But I also don't want to see any of you guys get a letter and also be blindsided by it and think, oh my God, it would hurt my feelings really bad if I got a letter like that and didn't know that it was even a possibility. So I did want to touch on that tonight. If you have questions about it, message us later. It's not anything that you need to be like nervous about, but from moving forward, especially, you need to be very careful. The thing they're really cracking down on that we've seen so far is listing diseases and saying that Plexus will help. Also, talking about people getting off of prescriptions. Even if you think it's relevant and true, even if it's part of someone's testimony, we're not able to say it, okay? Also, making income claims that could lead people astray. You have to be very careful when you're making income claims. Hang on a second. I'm going to read these questions. Okay.
No, I wouldn't go back through your pages and start deleting stuff. If you do go back through your pages and start deleting stuff in a fashion that where it's really quick and you start doing those things, Facebook's going to flag you, and they're liable to shut you down just for the fact that possibly your account has been hacked. So you don't want to go back through and just start deleting stuff. That's a flag for Facebook. As far as posts that you've made before, I wouldn't worry about it unless you did get a letter. I would imagine that hardly any of us get a letter. You just need to be very diligent in your posting, not listing diseases. Don't list the C word and the Plexus word in the same deal. You are a Plexus ambassador, so you represent a company that has supplements. So mentioning those things, even if you mention those words, and even without the word Plexus, may not be the best idea. I don't know, this is kind of iffy on there. I would leave those words alone. I haven't mentioned those words in forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I stay away from them altogether. Yeah, I think that's all I had to say there.
I'll tell you the other thing that we've seen people getting in trouble for is if you see a popular graphic floating around that's iffy and you're like, oh, wow, that looks amazing. Everyone's posting it. You're going to get a letter. If they can it's like not just the word search that they're able to search, they'll do image searches. So if one person gets turned in for doing one that mentions several diseases, we saw this was the example they sent us home with at Leaders. It was like, it just had a checklist of all these diseases. It was a real cool looking graphic, and it says, these are all actually Candida. And then it says, and this is how you get rid of Candida. And it's like, oh, well, they're connecting all the dots for you in this cool little graphic. And then They sent us home with that exact thing. They said everyone that had that image up got an email. And we're like, oh my Lord, did you just go like looking at everybody's Facebook page? No, they did some sort of image search. So if you think that you're safe because you're not using the actual typed word, you're not. All the little tricks that I have thought of to be able to get the point across for what I want to say, they are cracking down on us. And so yeah. I was what you might call public enemy number one or whatever when it came to not wanting to be controlled by compliance. It was like, seriously, you will not control me. I am saving the world. Well, then they hired Christopher Reed, Superman, as our compliance officer. And so he says that I can't save the world. It's his job to save the world. I just now thought of that. I think that's pretty funny to think of. Okay. What Erin said, though, I'm not going to repeat it, but you need to go read it. It's true. What she said in chat. Okay. Yes. And if compliance does get up your crawl about something, don't freak out. It's like I said, they're not going to lock you out unless you just don't respond. Their job really is just they basically legally are bound. They have to reach out to us and tell us to take it down. Does that make sense? And
yeah, so, and they'll work completely.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they'll work one-on-one with you and help you through the process. Yeah. I mean, they're not there to just say, hey, no, don't do that, and then see you later. I mean, they'll help you one-on-one. And, and we're not sitting here telling you guys this to put handcuffs on you either. We're just basically, getting this in front of you now. That way you can, instead of, like she said, seeing a post and thinking, oh yeah, that's a good post, and just, copy and paste it and share it. Back up from the computer a little bit, get back, use this before you put anything out there. Because like I did, Facebook is an advertisement. It's daily advertisement that we use. So just be smart when you're doing it, and you won't be in trouble.
Something else I had in my notes to talk about tonight, and this is totally a flip-flop of what we were just talking about, but I have discovered over the last few weeks that people don't know this. Okay, so Jetty and I have been working this business for 4 years, and we've worked it to a place where we're very, very comfortable now, and also where we have a stream of residual income coming in that we never dreamed of. Now, saying that, what do you think would happen if we passed, like if we were both in a car accident? Do you know what would happen with that income? Anybody?
Yeah, it goes to your kids or whoever you want it to go to.
Say it again. I think that's Laura.
That was Laura. She's saying it was
yes.
Your kids or whoever your inheritance goes
Whatever
to.
Your will says. Whatever your will says. That money doesn't just go upstream to your upline. Your plexus income, if you have it spoken so in your will, your plexus income is willable to your kids or basically whoever you choose. To me, that was to me, that's just like the hugest thing ever. It doesn't have to be if we're in a car accident. It's like years and years from now, whatever happens when we're gone, our plexus income is willable to, we've got it willed to our kids. Don't tell them that though. Okay, hang on a second. I'm going to read through these. There's more questions about compliance.
Eric asked a good question about private groups. You are advertising to people to join your team. So, yeah, I would not do it in those groups either.
He's talking about like team pages and stuff. We're not supposed to do it in team pages either. Did you know that?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, it's going to come down to where if we're going to share information regarding diseases, at this moment, let me just say this. At this moment, I don't know what the rule is going to be on that. I feel like I know. So we'll carry on as normal right now until they give us, because basically what you may be thinking to yourself is, well, how can I talk about plexus then? Okay. There are ways to talk about plexus. There are ways even to tell your own story and get your point across. And as I get better guidelines, I can promise you that they will deem Lori Word Harrison the queen of understanding, whatever that is that they teach us. And I will teach it to you all quite well. And I think it will be along the lines of, you can describe symptoms, like, I was just really tired all the time. I just really, if you can describe a symptom without naming a disease, I think it's going to be more along the lines of where we can't name the disease, we can't name the pill that we were taking, but we can give an overall picture so that, like, if you're at an opportunity meeting and you have this amazing testimony that includes a disease and a pill or a cabinet full of pills, you feel like, oh, I can't tell my story anymore. And I don't think that's going to be true. I think that there are going to be creative ways that we're going to have to train our teams on. They sort of did this before Super Saturday. They pulled us aside, those of us that were facilitating these meetings, and they said, we're going to have to be creative, basically. So don't think that the world is over, because it's been, I think, a year and a half since I've mentioned a single disease. And I thought, when I found out I wasn't going to be able to do this, I thought, I'll never survive. I can't do it. It's like somebody took my tongue and ripped it out of my mouth, and I thought, I can't do this. I can't sell Plexus if I can't tell people the truth. And I've been putting it to the test for a long time now. Probably seriously putting it to the test the closer we got to the fact that I thought they were going to really implement this. In the last probably 6 to 8 months. Okay, hang on. There's some more questions here.
Yeah, and anything that's said on our website, our company website, can be said out in the open. I mean, that's easy. I mean, even if you had somebody ask you a question about one of our products and you wanted to put it out publicly, you can go to our website and copy and paste and put it out there. And something to give you a little bit of relief, we are, you watch commercials on TV and stuff on products, they say, hey, there's disclaimers at the bottom. Says, this isn't typical weight loss, blah, 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 all the little disclaimer statements. Our compliance department is working on those currently. And hopefully we see those in 30 days or so is what I'm going for, or what I'm hoping for. Those statements will clear us up almost completely. So if Joe Blow says something ignorant on Facebook, but he posts his disclaimer with it, it's okay. But we're working on those statements, and I don't know what kind of requirements those statements have to go through, but obviously they have to go through some sort of
legal
getting okayed type deal, because it has taken a little bit to get those approved. But those are coming, and that will help clear up, issues when you do post. So as long as you just post your disclaimer with it.
Yeah, once they give us the proper disclaimer that goes with each situation, basically. They're going to be launching, and you've already received one of those emails, called the Plexus Way. That's what they're going to they're going to put this all under the umbrella of the Plexus Way. The way we talk about our business, the way we talk about our company, the way we talk about the income, the products, all of this. And he's not that new, but our attorney is going to be actually heading up those videos, so that he will give you ways basically to, you used to say this, now say it like this. Does that make sense? So that's the reason, like, a lot of teams are really a lot of leaders are really preaching at their teams about compliance. And I have stayed off of it for a long, long time because I'm stubborn, for one thing, but also because I didn't know what to tell you to properly say. It's like, don't tell them they can't say it unless you have something that they can say. And so since I think that we're very, very close to that part of the process where it's to the point where we can say, okay, don't say ABC, instead say XYZ. I felt comfortable. It was really in the process, we were getting really close to this area where people are getting letters, and I didn't want it to happen to any of yous. But also, I wanted to give you a warning, but also give you hope to know that it's right around the corner, that we're going to have clear-cut answers as to what people can and can't say. proper ways to train our team so that we're not just guessing. Because right now, I gave you a guess earlier. My best guess, and I think I'm probably right about this, is that we will probably be able to, like he said, use disclaimers with certain testimonies, and other ones we'll be able to get our point across by describing general symptoms. But you have to really be careful with symptoms, because sometimes symptoms are diseases, like fatigue. Or what was the one today? The graphic that has the bodybuilder. I mean, he's like ripped and shredded, and he's like wearing boxers, and he's got a little man bun. The graphic that's floating all around. You know which one I'm talking about. You know, you saw it. Anyway, that one.
I don't think the ladies saw it, babe. I don't think you're.
Right. They're all like, I don't know what she's talking about. Anyway, so it's before and after, and even the before you're going, hey, that's not too bad, but then his after picture, you know, and the whole testimony looked compliant to me. If somebody would have said, that's not compliant, I'd have said, no, there's no way that's not compliant. Nothing he said was, well, what was highlighted was better mood. Apparently mood is a disease, or a bad mood is a disease. Well, I mean, I've been around people where their bad mood is a disease. So I see where the FDA is coming from with that. I get it, but I just didn't know that it was classically regarded as a disease. So anyway, we have to be careful. Yeah, Aaron's all like going, disposition. I guess you could call them a crab cake. You can say, I used to be a crab cake. Hang on, I'm going to see if there's any more. Yeah, here's the thing, though. The relief comes in. Someone said, was it Aaron maybe that said that? We'll have to be creative with our words. It's my strong suit. And I vow to you guys that I will do everything I have in me to teach you guys the proper way to do it, creatively get our point across, and that we don't have to lose any momentum. We don't have to feel like, oh, we got our hands slapped. We can get through this. It's just going to be, it'll just be a phase that we're going through.
Creative posts will cause more engagement anyways. So.
Absolutely. I've had a post that came up on my page the other day that was so good. And it was like one of those 2 years ago or 1 year ago or whatever posts. And I was like, oh, I'm going to share that again. So I cut and pasted the whole thing. And as I was skimming down through it, I was like, dang it. I can't even remember. It was one of those that was sort of like lethargy or fatigue or something, where it was like, and I just went in there and just changed some things up, reworded it a different way, cleared the air about it, and was able to post it still. Now, I didn't really want this call to be about compliance, like, at all. But I also don't, like I said, I don't want you guys getting an email unaware and being like, my leader knew and didn't tell me. Because now that I know that a lot of leaders are really, really harping on this, I feel like I have to at least get in there so that you guys are not the ones that are being used as examples. When people get an email, they'll say, hey, well, I saw so-and-so, they did it, and we're the ones that are being used as examples of the ones that are still doing it. So are there any more questions about that before we go on? I'll be right back. Go ahead and post your questions, though. I'll be right back.
No, can't say that either. Scarlett.
Oh, wait. Okay. I have one more thing to say. Also, if there's a resource out there, follow me here, that you use a lot.
Yeah, I can't say allergies either, I don't think.
No. But if there's a resource out there that you use a lot that mentions things that you're not supposed to mention, I highly suggest that you don't tag people in that resource any longer. I would suggest instead to cut and paste a link from any resource into a private message. Are you following me? Okay. That's going to be your best bet. Please follow me on this. Okay. So if you don't follow me on that, message me later. Right now, resources are set to where only certain people can see them if they used to be on my page. You may have to get the resource from another spot, where it always has been. So I just didn't know if that was floating through anybody's mind. Can we still use our resource? For now, yes. Okay, hang on. Okay, Harley asked, can we, I don't know the answer to that yet, Harley. I'm at this point, I'm leaning toward no, probably not. Probably can't do that. But actually, that will be one of the very most important things that I ask when we get a chance to. But if you have the fact that you are a Plexus ambassador on, the fact that you are a Plexus ambassador on your wall or on your description anywhere, if you're talking about certain things, I don't know how that's going to all fall. Those are the things that are still up in the air.
The way that works is when you have something that you can prove fixes or repairs something, you can make a claim. Our company is currently working on those things, that the way that we can have those things to say. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay.
Danielle, she says, can we talk about our testimony, then ask if you want to know how we healed this, please PM me. I would suggest, first of all, don't ever say the word heal on your page again, like ever, unless Jesus heals you of something and you click and you give Jesus the credit. I wouldn't use the word heal because of the fact that you're a Plexus ambassador. I'm sort of being silly about that, but also being for real. And I also would not give your testimony at all if it includes, if in your written word, if you're going to include a disease or a prescription. Not now, not until we figure out what you're supposed to. Now, that's because Facebook is considered an advertisement. You can tell people, and you can tell them in private message, you can tell them the truth about your story, but you just can't advertise it, not right now.
Yeah. And the word, and I'm gonna say this, the word healed, the word healed or cured, we've never been able to use those.
Right.
I mean, that's been from day one. That's never been able to be used.
And I want to say something about that too. To me, the word healed or cured means that it's gone forever. Like if you are healed from something, it's gone. If you get off of Plexus products, it's gone and won't come back. And I don't know that Plexus products have necessarily done that for people. That's why people stay on Plexus, because our food, the food that we eat, and there's so many toxins in the air, and a lot of the things like what my brother had going on with him was environmental. And if he was going to work in that environment still, he was probably going to still have those issues. So even though he may have been asymptomatic had he started taking Plexus, it didn't exist then, but maybe he would have gone asymptomatic from whatever issues that he had if he had tried Plexus. Cured or healed is, to me, one of those things that's like, it's gone now, it will never come back. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah. And there's no, and like Danielle just said, there's no reason to be paranoid. There is no reason to be paranoid to post. Like I said earlier, we just need to back up, use this, be creative, don't use any disease words, and go on. Just like Amy said, can we say it helped with issues that I was having? Don't name the issues. Just, I mean, once you get somebody talking to somebody one-on-one, you can be a little bit more open with them. As far as how to, okay, you can carry on a little bit, Lori, if you want to.
Okay. Let me
say this real quick. Crystal said something about type 2. If it says it on the website, it says something about healthy blood sugars and something. I can't remember the exact verbiage on the website, but like I said earlier, if it says it on the website, it's out there. That's advertising. We can use that verbiage.
Okay. Also, I want to say that, like I said, you can go back through my Plexus posts for a year almost, probably more than a year. And if you're sitting here thinking, I can't do this, I can promise you that I was the can't doest person in the world when I first realized that this was going to be happening. And I started figuring out ways. Now, as we learned more rules and more guidelines, I got more and more refined with the way I do it. But you can go back on my wall and read everything I've posted for months and months and months. And you'll be like, oh, all this time I thought Lori was probably doing it. And she wasn't, because I haven't. And I will tell you this, that my business has steadily increased the more I talk about. Are you ready for this? Do you want to know the key word? Do you want to know what I talk about the most that caused my business to increase? There's one topic that I talk about more than anything. It has nothing to do with anything to do with your health. It has to do with the financial portion of this business.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the health bandwagon so strong that I was like, I mean, you guys that have been around for a while, you're like, for real? I mean, like, that's all I talked about was, I talked about Candida. That's all I talked about. We can't talk about Candida. I did that for so long, and I drug enough sick people with me into this business. And now they're all like, basically I drug enough sick people with me that they're like, I want to get the world well. And I get it. But my business has increased. My team has grown and expanded, and more level ones have joined me since I started talking about the business than all those years that I talked about diseases. If that gives you any hope and inspires you. I mean, I never would have dreamed, and I thought it was superficial and stupid. And I mean, I had all these, like, in my mind, I had all of these, like, self-imposed reasons why I wouldn't talk about the business, because it's like, that doesn't compare to getting your life back. And for some people, that is, apparently for the majority of people, that would be getting their life back. I did not.
Lori.
Who knew? So,
Lori.
yes.
This is Tammy. What was my Wi-Fi went off? But what was the word that you were saying?
Okay, I was saying that when my business first took off, I'm going to repeat myself in case you guys didn't understand what I just said. Basically, when my business first took off, it mostly had to do with the fact that I would not shut up about people's health. But in the last 2 years, what has kept my business going and going stronger than before, is me talking about the opportunity of Plexus. Now, you have to be careful. You still can't make income claims. You can't, but trying to draw people into the company and into the business, not as customers, but as ambassadors to join my team, has built my team and built our, wouldn't you say that what I'm saying is right, Jetty? I'm not explaining it very well, but.
No, you're explaining it perfectly, because there's two things in this world that almost everybody needs help in, and it's health or wellness. I mean, health or finance. Yeah, finances. So yeah, and we have an answer for both. So yeah. So don't shackle yourself because you don't want to take an extra 2 minutes to make your post a little creative. Just get creative.
Yeah, and you guys know that I appeal to people with our lifestyle now. I'm like, this is something we can do we couldn't do before. I don't have to say that, but people know. And I started kind of like veering that direction once I realized that a lot of leaders in the company never use a wellness approach, like ever. To me, that was disgusting, deplorable. I couldn't believe it. I wanted to slap them. I couldn't believe they didn't want to get people well. And they just had a different approach. And as I began to watch their approach, and they were like, I approach people with the business first. That's just the way I see it. That's the way they looked at it. It was the camera that they were looking through. And I was like, okay, hang on. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to answer these questions. Yes, migraine is a disease word. We cannot talk about migraines. I don't think we can even say the word headache, sadly. Okay, please give an example of combining health and finances verbiage-wise, please. Okay, I'm not talking about combining. For me, I'm talking about doing a post based strictly on what this business can do for my family. Even if it hasn't yet, based strictly on, you could do a post based on that with just your business building bonus this month, which is the money you get paid when you sponsor you or for 3 levels down, sponsor someone, 3, 4 levels down, whatever it is. Sponsor a new person into your team, and you make that business building bonus every Friday. You could be like, I can't wait for Fridays because I always know I'm going to be able to take my family out to dinner and to the movies because Plexus pays us every Friday with our business building bonuses. Those types of things are the things I'm talking about, where people become curious about what this business is that you do. As you grow in rank, you can tell bigger, fancier stories, but it all starts with the core of, this is what I've decided to do now. I'm doing this for my family's betterment. And you basically can tell it in a, like this. This is what I do, and this is what it has provided for me and my family. The more you can tell it in the form of a story, the more it's going to be engaging to other people. Hang on a second. Did that answer you, Shirley? Yeah, you can't, okay. You can't take pictures of your commissions. I mean, you can, but you can't show them to anybody. You can't post them on Facebook. That's what someone had said. They took a picture, but you can't put that on Facebook because it's income, whatever they call it, income claims.
Well, Lori,
Yes?
what if you haven't had anybody to buy anything yet under you?
Okay. You can tell about parts of the compensation plan.
How can you get somebody interested in it too?
Okay, so if you're brand new and you don't have any customers and you don't have any ambassadors and you want to tell something about the company, you can tell why you got in, why you decided to get involved. Now, why you decided to get involved in regards to your health is separate than why you decided to get involved and sell it. You can tell someone else's story. For example, whoever sponsored you, you could say, it seemed so cool to me when Jessica was talking about the fact that now that she can do, and you could mention something that she was able to do because of her Plexus income. You could even talk about fun things that you do in regards to other Plexus people. To me, that's one of the biggest aspects that I wasn't anticipating when I got involved with Plexus, is that I would have this family atmosphere with Plexus people. You would be surprised how many people out there don't have like community like what we have and would love to be involved in something where they feel like they're part of something that's great, a great cause. And so, I mean, honestly, I understand where you're coming from. You're like, okay, I can't really brag on the income yet. I've just, I don't have anything to brag on about that yet. But there are creative ways. And if you want to message me, and we'll kind of brainstorm on how would be good ways to promote the business. Does anybody else have an input about
that? Oh, what were you going to say? You're going to keep saying something else?
No, go ahead.
No, it looks like April asked if the graphic that shows the average annual income by ambassador rank. That comes straight from the company. You can use that. Anything that the one that came from the company is completely fine to use. Any other ones that people break down and use, I don't know if I'd use those or not. But I mean, I don't see it as a great big deal. But I would, anything that the company makes is fine.
I'm answering Rosie's question now. Rosie. From my understanding, this only applies on your Facebook wall. That makes sense? Since we're videoing, I don't want to go into that too deeply, but so you can go read Rosie's question there. What about hang on a second, let me read this. Um,
Straight off of WebMD.
yeah, since it mentions a disease, you can't.
Yeah, see, WebMD is probably, they have licenses and disclaimers and all that stuff where they can actually say those things.
Power tools. At this moment, I don't actually know for sure if everything they have is compliant. At one time, it was, but we have to be careful since basically I could have gone in there and made Plexus Power Tools a couple of years ago and I would have known everything was compliant. But since they have, it's not that we've changed, the rules haven't changed. It's just that, we did 40-something million last month and we're on the FDA radar now. And now that we have to play according to their rules. So.
Yeah, and like Pam just said, Plexus Power Tools, they have dates on all their graphics where they're good through, and if they're not good, they have to resubmit that stuff. Like, I can't remember the exact timeline that they have to resubmit everything, but they do consistently resubmit everything, and if it's not compliant, they will pull it. So most of that stuff is.
I felt like it probably was.
I would think
he works his rear off trying to keep.
Yeah, I would think 99.9% of his stuff is fine. So.
Also, please don't get up in arms because as these new videos begin to roll out, literally right now, what Jetty and I are doing is standing in the gap between, right now there are no videos to tell us what we can and can't do, but they've already started sending out emails. The gap is here that they're going to send out, they're going to make videos that tell us what we can and can't do. And all we're trying to do is fill in the gap to make sure that none of you freak out over an email. Even if you get one, it's okay. But I just didn't want any of you to be like, I got an email and now I'm freaking out and I'm going to quit or something like that. Because I will say this. If I were going to give them any advice, but they didn't ask me, I would say, can I write your emails? They sound rude. But what it is, it's legal language. They have to come at us with...
So Harley
sharing her screen again. They have to give legal language to us because if the FDA comes in and finds something that they didn't find of ours and they're like, are you aware? They'll say, oh, well, we've warned her and she ignored us. And that can't happen. They have to warn us. The language has to be harsh enough to say that we were warned. And that's how that works. Does everybody understand that? So if you get an email that says, look, if you don't basically get back to us within so many days or hours or whatever, we will have to put your account on hold basically until you get back to us. And it does sound a little bit short, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I've read a few of them. I'm like, oh gosh, that would have scared me when I was new, but it's nothing to be scared about. It's something to be checked on, but not scared about.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, once we get our disclaimers in or out to the field, it will completely almost free us of almost anything. I still don't think we can mention diseases and stuff, but I mean, you'll feel like, oh wow, this is easy now.
Yeah.
Once we have disclaimers, I mean, you could almost probably say, makes you stand on one hand above your head. I mean, whatever, I don't know. But yeah, once those come out, it'll be a whole lot more simple.
Okay, so now I don't want to end on this because I don't like rules. Do I, babe?
He's a rule breaker.
I always used to love a checkbook, didn't I, baby? Love to balance a checkbook. I don't like anybody putting any kind of handcuff on me.
You got to know how to do that first before you love it.
Oh,
right?
I don't know how to do it. I don't like it. I hate everything about it. When somebody tries to tell me what to do, I do not like it. I never have. One time, I'm going to tell a story on myself really quick. This is not a story I'm proud of, but I do feel like I should share it with you guys in just in this moment. When I was probably in 7th grade, which would have been, well, I was born in 1974, so whatever year that would have been. I was probably about 6th or 7th grade. I had just learned, I didn't know the full aroma of what it meant, but I had just learned how to fly the bird, okay? don't hold it against me. Someone had shown me at school and hadn't told me the full effect of what it meant. But my dad walked in my bedroom and told me to do something, and he was really aggravated at me. And he told me to do something, and then he walked out and slammed the door. And when he did, I used my new trick. Like, after the door was slammed, I did it with both hands, like, rah, like everything I had in me. I even kind of like flailed my arms around like a karate, you know, and then the door opened back up after I had put my arms back down, and he looked right at me and he goes, I know what you just did. Okay, from that point on, I thought my dad, first of all, was magic. I'm 40 years old now, and I have figured out that my dad was just a whole lot like me. That's why he knew what I did, right? Anyway, that's how I feel about all of this. Yet I have to protect my birds, my butterflies, right? I have to protect all of you guys. And so I hate to end on something like this. So is there something else that we can talk about that doesn't make me feel like a seventh grader? Okay. You guys help me figure out another topic we can talk about so we can close this thing out tonight. Is there anybody who has a new goal to rank up this month? Do we have anybody ranking up this month who thinks it's a possibility?
I saw Krista raise her hand. Yeah, I saw you when you did it.
The dearies. Okay, are you both thinking you might rank up this month? Just
Krista.
girl child.
It looks. Aaron's saying Bree's going to.
Bree. Okay. Oh, look at yeah. Heather, you think it's gonna happen this month, honey bunny? She don't
There
know.
you go.
I'm gonna claim it for her.
That's what I'm talking
I'm
about.
reading because some people are like phoning it in. They're typing it in.
April 16th.
Oh, Senior Ruby. I will tell you a fun little story. When we got involved with the company was small enough that they called Jetty. Who called you when you turned Senior Ruby, baby?
Tara Robinson did.
Okay, listen to this story. So we were sitting at a Mexican restaurant in Grapevine,
Dallas.
Texas.
Yeah, great one.
And we had just had a conversation about the fact that so many things had just happened in the business. And Jetty's phone rings. And he looked at it and he said, I think he said it's Arizona, or he said it's Plexus. It's one of the two. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. So he answers it. We were so new. We knew no one. And he goes, oh, yes, Tarl. And I was like, that is not funny. Like, not funny. Next thing I know, he stands up and he walks away from the table. And I thought, oh, that was for real. And then he comes back to the table and he's like, oh my gosh. And I said, was that really Tarl Robinson? He said, yeah. I said, what did he want? And he said, he was calling to congratulate me and just want to say, how'd you do it? Because he had skipped a rank. He had gone from Senior Gold to Senior Ruby. Was it in the same month or something like that? Okay. Yeah. We were on fire, y'all. We were on fire at that very moment. And I said, well, what did you tell him? And he said, I have no idea. He's like, I have no idea. He had no idea what he had told him. That's how long we've been with the company that used to get like a personal call for going Senior Ruby. Hang on. Oh, look at all these people that are going to rank up. Woo! Crystal will be Senior Ruby. Darla's going Silver. Aaron will be Senior Ruby at the end of April. This I'm sure. Yeah, Shirley, we know you're going to go Silver. So, okay, that's exciting. And I feel a lot less like a seventh grader now. So y'all don't be appalled at me. I didn't truly know what I was doing back then. However, I did have my daddy's blood in me, and I still do. And I will say that it might not have made a difference if I would have or would not have known in seventh grade what I was doing back then, because I was a bit of a rebel child. Jetty, were you a rebel? Pam is appalled.
I still am.
You still are. Jetty's appalled. So now y'all know. I'm going to call this, I'm going to name this one the birds and the bees. It was the birds and the butterflies call that we did tonight. I told you your butterfly story and told you about flying the bird. Y'all are welcome. Okay.
Yeah. Jeff said he's setting on gold. He's gonna set his eyes on gold too.
All right. Oh, Danielle too.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. So this was like the hardest call I've ever had to do, talking about compliance. It's like when you ground your child. It's like the hardest thing a mom ever has to do. Okay. So especially since I hate this topic myself anyway. Okay. So I'm going to pray over us. I'm going to pray over us about compliance. Not really. I think I'm not even really worried about it, except for the only thing I worried about was someone getting something and being a little bit appalled by it or worried about it. There's nothing to worry about. If you get something, just let us know. I got a lot on my heart. So in regards to not this, but other stuff. So, all right. You guys want to pray with me really quick? We'll hang around if you have more questions afterwards. Y'all forgive me for having not a lighthearted Zoom tonight, but we had to go over this stuff. So, oh Lord, we thank you for your love. And we love you so much. We just open our hearts with praises to you tonight. Just for who you are. Our hearts are so open to your will over our lives. Your special calling, whatever that is. Whatever that looks like in each of our lives. Lord, we just ask that you open our eyes to it every single day. We will just wake up and say, open our eyes to what's today supposed to look like for you, Lord. And then literally like give us glimpses into further and further into like a year from now, what's it supposed to look like so that we know the direction we're heading. Give us glimpses, little heavenly glimpses, Lord. I thank you for this team that I have of just amazing, brilliant, loving hearts. And I thank you for their just willing, their willing souls. I pray over any health concern that's going on tonight in any of their lives, within their families, their friends, whoever it is that they care about. Any health concerns, Lord. Plexus aside, we know that you are the healer. You are the one that heals our bodies, that heals our broken hearts. And I lift any of those concerns up to you tonight, Father. If we feel that our hearts are easily distracted, I just pray calm and peace in whatever situations make us feel that way. I'm getting this like visual image of like, it's going to sound silly, but this visual image of like, I can't even remember what's going on in the Wizard of Oz, where there's like, where I think there may be weirdly enough, like an opiate field or something, poppies or something, where it's like just, that is the visual image that came to me, like the calm and the peace. Y'all don't make fun of me, but that is what came into my head. I hadn't thought about that in years. The calm and the peace that the Lord just wants to just spill out on us. He wants to say to us just like, chill out. Like, for the love of God, chill out. That's what just popped into my head. Hand it over to me. Give it over to me. I created you. I love you. I want to take care of you. Whatever that burden is, just give it back to me. And take my peace. Take peace in replacement for it. Whatever it is. Might be a health concern. It might be a marital concern. Might be something rebellious kids concern. Whatever it is. Just picture that. And he just loves us so much. Imagine how much you love your own kids and then like multiply that. I can't even tell you how many times. Anytime you start getting confused about whether, the Lord has any ill will for your life, just keep that in mind. It's not the way he works. He loves us. He wants good for us. He wants us to prosper. Any heavy heart or burden, any old heartbreak, any resentment, guilt, unforgiveness, anything that you're holding on to is not worth it. It just burdens you and blocks you from the blessings and fullness of how he wants to flow in your life. I'm doing the same thing I did last week. It started off like a prayer. This is the way I pray, though, so just sorry. When Jesus left, he said he was going to send back for us what was even better. He called it the Comforter, the Holy Spirit. That which would live inside us and replace him. And he said, it's even better than me. So if you can just even imagine that, if you think to yourself, I wish I lived when Jesus lived. He says, I'm sending something better in my replacement, and it will live inside you, the Holy Spirit, to comfort you, to guide you. And every day when you struggle with something, you just lift it up, lay it down. It depends on whatever works for you metaphorically in your mind. Lift it up to the Lord, lay it down at his feet. He is there for us. He loves us. He cares about us. His mercies go on and on and on and on. If you have shame burdening your life, I saw this thing the other day. It was like shame and guilt. Like guilt, feeling guilty for something is a good thing because it means that you feel remorseful for doing something, but shame is a label, like it becomes your identity. So it's good to feel guilt if you've done something wrong and that you ask for forgiveness for it. But to take on shame is an entirely different thing because you feel ashamed of yourself. And the Lord, there's no place for shame. There's a place for redemption. We're redeemed in the name of Jesus. And I think I'm just going to end on that. We're redeemed. He loves us. Makes me want to sing that song. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay. Are these all new? Hang on. I'm going to see if there's new chats I need to answer. Okay, I got several private messages. Give me a second. Oh, we got a lot of them planning on ranking up this month. That's awesome. Do I have any Irish people in the house? Am I the only Irish person on this team? Please say I'm not. Anybody else? Chad Deary, are you Irish? You are? Okay. It's the luck of the
I am.
Irishman. This is our month, man. This is the luck of the Irish month. Okay.
Aaron's yelling, duh.
Duh.
I'm Irish.
Rainier, are you Irish? Where's that right here? No? No. Okay. Somebody's telling me, look, they're putting their Irish last names on there. Becky, is that Becky Hutcherson? Oh, dearie. Oh, dearie.
Lori, I am.
Who said that? Tammy? Tammy, are you Irish?
Tammy? Yeah, I'm Irish. Yep. Red hair and everything.
Jesse's a Heinz 57.
My whole life, I told people I was Irish and thought I was telling the truth. Turns out I think I'm Scottish. My mom's maiden name was McCowan, McCawn, McCowan. And I think it's Scottish, but I always just claim that this is my month anyway. Did you know I think I turned emeralds? I did. I turned emerald in March and I turned diamond in March. True? Isn't that right, Jenny? He don't know. Yeah, we definitely.
Emerald in March.
Because we turned senior ruby in February, and then we turned emerald, because February is that red month, and then we turned emerald in March. Any of you who are planning on turning senior ruby in very quickly, that's how quickly it could possibly happen. And then I think I turned diamond the following March. Jetty did it much quicker than I did. I think he turned it like in October, didn't you, Smarty? He was at Leaders Retreat. The Leaders Retreat I didn't get to go to.
It was in Amelia Island.
She was all having a baby. By the way, I watched my sister have her baby in all its glory. And I will never watch a baby be born again, ever.
Kristen will spit her drink out.
Sorry. It's funny. It was not like I thought I've had two babies myself. I've watched a baby story on TLC, but see, they took my babies they put the zipper in because Trip was like ginormo baby, and so I never like had a baby, and even if I had, I don't know that I would have ever watched it. So just like 2.5 years ago, I watched it for the first time in my life, and after that, it was like, well, I woke up the next morning, like I did really good because I know I've told y'all this before, because I didn't faint, and I'm a major. I mean, I'm not trying to claim this, but all my life I have been a fainter. Like if my kids bleed, I fall. I mean, like, don't I, Jetty?
It's the worst thing. The kids could be running up and have blood on them, and the first thing I do instead of checking on the kid is I turn around and tell her to sit down.
Sit down. He says, sit down. I don't have time to take care of both of you. So I'm a fainter big time. So then my mom thinks it's a good idea. Since I stayed home from Leaders Retreat that year, they were like, she said, you earned it. You stayed home from Leaders Retreat. You're not going to get to go up on the stage and get that big check. That's what my mom thinks Leaders Retreat is about. And so she's like, you're not going to get to go up there, so you get to go in and watch her have the baby. And I was like, that's a great idea, except for the thing I was thinking, except for I'm a fainter. And I held it together like a champion. I mean, like, I got this. And the next morning I woke up, I guess I had suppressed everything, like, blocked the emotion. I saw the head do everything that the head does, including this, and then it came out in all its glory, and everything that the baby does, and you're like, ah! And inside I was going, ah! Like having a symphony orchestra, but I was being quiet. So the next morning I woke up with the most splitting migraine I've ever had in my total life, like puking everywhere, and I thought, oh my God, I was around that baby last night. My sister's going to be sick. Oh, made the baby sick. I can't believe it. And turned out it was all just a stress headache. But I don't know why I told that. Anyway, that's when Jetty was turning diamond while I was having a symphony orchestra moment that didn't actually like happen, and I puking my brains out, and Jetty turned diamond while he's in Amelia Island. Is that where Leaders Retreat was?
Yeah, it's pretty nice over there.
Yeah, pretty nice. Jenny was real sad that he left for all of that. So, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah. I have to tell y'all one brief story. Someone said something about Rue. The house that I live in, I've probably told this maybe before, but not on a Zoom call, I don't think. When Rue McClanahan wrote a book about 3 or 4 years before she died, it was called My First 5 Husbands and the Ones That Got Away. And it was the cutest book I've ever read, still to this day, very telling about her and how she was born in Wilson, Oklahoma, which is just like a stone's throw from here. But then when she was in like middle school, her dad built the home that we live in now, and which was like 1942 or something like that. And they moved here into Ardmore. And this house that is no longer really in the country was really out in the country far enough that she used to have to describe to boyfriends that how many telephone poles they had to count to get out to where her house was. And so many telephone poles from the water tower, basically. And also, her parents raised her son because she had her son. She began pursuing her acting career immediately after that. So she moved to New York and she left her son here. So her son was completely raised in this house. Her water broke here in my kitchen, like I'm telling you, like 4 feet from where I'm sitting right here. And also, she told where her daddy used to hide his moonshine inside the fireplace. Well, we never could find it. Like, I was like, she's just lying. She's just making that up. She said there was a trap door inside the fireplace, and we knew that there was only one owner between their a short term there, that someone owned the home after the McClanahan, her dad, Pat, sold it. And we knew that they didn't make any alterations to the house except for like paint the walls and take carpet out of one room. And then we're the next owners. And she had said there was a trap door inside the fireplace. Turns out her sister showed up here a few years ago and actually showed us. She's like, well, it's not exactly in the fireplace. I'm not telling y'all where it is because that's none of y'all's business where we hide our moonshine. But there is a trap door, come to find out. Like, you go pop and you can hit it, and then that's where they hid all their treasures or whatever. And Jetty just knows for sure, like beyond a shadow of doubt, that one of these days we're gonna like find a trap door around here and we're gonna find like an old fortune. Am I right, Jetty? This house is it's the windiest. Even my next door neighbor, every time she comes over, and she's lived in this neighborhood longer than we have, but every time she comes over, she's like, I get so lost in your house. It's so turned around. Okay, so like I was in my dining room. This is my kitchen. Yeah, that you guys have seen before. These are the cookies that Erin Kroll cooked for us earlier today. Sinful cookies that my son wanted her to cook for us. And then out here in the hallway, I can't think of anything that was in her book from the hallway, but I'm going to show you this cool, check out that stairway. Kind of an interesting, I'll try to hold it really still where you can see. Interesting old stairway. I think Jetty told me the other day that he found out that that the house wasn't always a 2-story. Is that what you said, Jetty?
Yeah, the guy that redid the roof for us a few years ago said that the upstairs wasn't added until like the mid-70s, early 70s, mid-70s, something like that.
Dark in here. You can't really see anything. See those old windows that we have? And then I don't even know what I'm about to show y'all. I didn't come in here and preface any of this. This is the old fireplace that we thought was the where the moonshine is, but the moonshine's over there. I'm not going to show y'all where it is. I know what y'all want to do. You want to break in my house and steal my moonshine. But there used to be, when we first moved in here, there was an old bar in the kitchen, like not as in like a liquor bar, but like as in, a kitchen bar. And we've since taken that out, but there used to be bar stools sitting. What, buddy? Oh, sorry. You have to turn it back off. My child's like, you turned the light on. I don't know what they're doing, watching. Anyway, so the bar stools, we still have those, don't we, babe?
Yeah, so
Had old stool, like old soda fountain. Have the silver
penny top.
around them. Yeah, cool old. Also out here, like here I am, I'm back in the dining room here. Right out here was the maid quarters. All those years, we didn't know that we were supposed to have a maid living out there, but we forever we thought that was supposed to be sister's bedroom. We're like, that's the maid quarters. That's where sister lives. Out there, apparently they put the maid out there with the washer and dryer, which is kind of sad for her. If I was a maid, I wouldn't be a good maid, basically what it come down to. So anyway, okay, I don't know why I'm showing y'all all that. I'm going to